Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Media Marketing Workshop. My name is Sherry Sensala. I'm the Executive Director for the Chamber. With me behind the scenes is our Member Relations and Event Coordinator, Marissa Mertens, who is working on the technical side of this webinar. Marissa joined us about a month ago and has already dived into many of the events and programming the Chamber will offer in the upcoming months. Speaking of all the Chamber offerings, Marissa and I could not do this alone, and we want to acknowledge the people who helped make it happen. We are fortunate to have nearly 45 people who volunteer for our board and committees to bring these educational programs, networking opportunity, services, and promotions to you. That is members working on behalf of members to keep this chamber as relevant to our businesses today as it was back in 1969 when a group of businessmen got together to formalize an association that existed since the 30s into the Oconomowoc Area Chamber of Commerce. And speaking of members helping members, I am pleased to welcome Peggy Olson of Digital Media Labs. Digital Media Labs has partnered with the Chamber for the past few years to bring you updated information and tips about using social media and other digital platforms to help keep your current customers engaged and to reach new customers. Digital Media Labs is a division of Guarantee Digital, a digital agency solutions partner that helps organizations of all sizes with web design, social media, and strategic target marketing. Digital Media Labs is their educational arm, which offers classes and workshops to educate businesses about the choices available to them so that they can make the best decision for their business or organization. Peggy Olson has over 20 years of digital marketing experience and has a passion for helping businesses excel online. Peggy loves working with local businesses on all levels to help them meet their digital goals. She currently leads all the digital workshops for Digital Media Lab and works with businesses on strategy, digital how-tos, and coaching. So before I hand this over to Peggy, I just want to let you know that there is a question and answer tool you can use to submit questions during the presentation. We will keep track of these and try to answer as many as possible as we can at the end of the presentation. And so with that, Peggy, thank you for taking some time to speak with the Oconomowoc businesses today, and I'll let you take it from here.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Make sure. So Sherry, do me a favor and let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I am so thrilled to be here. I literally love doing these types of workshops for local businesses of all sizes, no matter if you have a brick and mortar downtown or you work from your home. These strategies, what you're going to learn today, really applies to everybody. And some of the things I'm going to dive into is kind of the must-dos of 2021. I've had a lot of questions in the past few months about, what has changed? What shifted? What should we be doing differently, especially in the year of the pandemic, right? And so, as we know, a lot of us are doing everything and anything online and being mostly virtual today. Our strategies and our exploration and how we, you could say, explore the web has also changed. So I'm going to walk you guys through kind of and teach you new digital state of mind techniques and the best practices to really set your business apart online. It really is about being noticed. It's about getting leads, and it's about gaining even more, maybe more sales. I mean, let's be honest, it's all about getting those leads in the pipeline. So I'm also going to dive into smarter dollars spent with digital advertising. One of my newer roles within the organization is I actually oversee all the paid advertising strategies. So that's everything with Google ads and social ad marketing and retargeting. So there's a lot of cool things happening out there on the marketing end that I think a lot of people don't really know what is available, what's the best strategy for me. So I'm going to teach some of that stuff today. So at this point, we're going to dive in. So here we go. So a little bit about us really quick. We kind of do it all. We are actually located in downtown Delafield. We just moved above Craig Burns, actually. We were originally right above Revere's, so convenient. Too bad we moved out right before St. Patty's, but it's what it is. So a lot of what we do is we support local businesses. We do a lot of workshops. We do a lot of personal coaching, and we actually have this amazing team of individuals and specialists right under our roof that do everything from web development to social media management and marketing, web, SEO, SEM. So we have a wonderful team of individuals that do a lot of that work for many of our clients throughout the country. So I love this picture because I presented this last year, and I swear I think we're still here. So my question to you guys, are we still there? The high bun, anxiety headaches, stress pimple, So for some of us, this might be kind of our daily occurrence, which I think is hilarious. But I see more and more people kind of getting out of the woodwork, getting out of their homes and scheduling meetings, which I'm always so happy to be at an in-house meeting nowadays at an office. But I think this is funny because I think we are kind of still there with the crazy outfits every day. So here's what's going on, you guys. Consumer behavior in 2021 has completely changed, right? So obviously digital shopping and everything as far as digital research is here to stay. Consumers are switching brands as well at rates we've never seen before. So because we are constantly on our devices and we are enticed and engaged with different advertisement sponsored posts or the ads that we see throughout the web or on our phones or on social, we're getting enticed every day by different brands, different services, different products to try. And so we're seeing that there's been a big shift in what people, as far as the past, what they were committed to and what they really loved as far as products and services are starting to change. So businesses really need to ensure strong availability and also convey value. So you guys as a business, in the end, like I said, no matter who you are, always our community will always support local no matter what, right? But there's still work to be done for you guys in the sense that you still need to convey, like I said, all the value that you bring forth in the community and what you do for your consumers and your customers. We are now seeing a lot of DIY, home improvement, a lot of home fitness and cooking. So there's a lot of also opportunity. One of the things I've always said in the past, and I'm going to say it again and again and again, is you really got to get yourself out there, especially those of you that do have a storefront, okay? Videos, I cannot stress it enough, no matter who you are and what you do, need to happen. We live in a micro moment world, right? So we are just completely engaged and enriched with all these micro moments content that we see every day. So for you guys to get kind of through all of the fluff that's out there, right? All the noise, everything that people are seeing, you gotta kind of get a little more video into the mix when it comes to your marketing plan and strategy. So the other thing that's changed since, this past year, COVID, is there's been a lot of new shopping methods. So again, people are trying new brands. People are trying new stores and retailers. New digital shopping methods is something that is here to stay for a while. So that's a good and positive for many of you, just because, of course, we're going to support local. But people are shifting gears a little bit more and becoming a little more comfortable as well with trying new brands and trying new things through the web because we can. Okay. And the reason why we can is the research that we do. And here's the thing, it's not always about the price, right? So understanding consumer motivation during this pandemic has been a big eye-opener, I think, for a lot of us out there. It is not always about the price. It is also about kind of, in a nutshell, appealing to the emotional side of a consumer. That is a big piece of it. And so a lot of what we're trying to do out there in the mix is on the emotional side of the consumer, the behavior is really connection, right? So the connection in the sense of being able to engage with your voice, and your voice is being what you put out there on social, and your face, and that is also social, and your web is so important, more important than ever before. There are two connections with customers, okay? So there are two key strategies that people are actively searching. We have search engine optimization that is extremely important. And let me explain to you kind of the gist of SEO. So SEO is kind of a living, breathing thing. So when you think of Google, and I'm going to sound totally crazy when I say this, but Google loves action. So Google loves that there is information put out there through the web, that you are paying attention to that Google My Business page, which I know a lot of people ignore or they don't pay attention to it. So it's like a big puzzle. Google's like a big puzzle, and you got to put the pieces together to make Google happy and to make it complete. And so search engine optimization, I'm going to phrase this in the way that hopefully sticks, is never one and done. It's never one and done. You don't just optimize your website and let it go. You don't just post a picture or optimize your Google My Business and say, well, that should work. I'm just going to rank on top of Google, just like that. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So there is consistency of what you guys do with your website content and how you practice a little bit more engagement with your Google My Business page that is going to help rank better for you. And it's something that you have to pay attention to. Advertising strategies is also a big thing. So with the face of your business, web, how you're found on the web, okay, is obviously driven by the strategies behind it. So one of the things that we have learned this past year is marketing dollars have to now be a part of your marketing plan. So there needs to be a little bit of a marketing budget. And I'm not just saying the basics of, a website host or boosting a post. There should be a little bit more of budget in the mix, hopefully for some of you, to do things that drive leads to your website, that take it to that next level of getting action. So that's Google pay-per-click, YouTube advertising, mobile geofencing, not there yet, but we'll get there in a bit. And there's so many different really, really cool strategies to consider as a business. We always have known that consumer searching right now are on Google. This is where 89% of the market is, okay? But how we search on Google is different. We're a little lazier, right? So when we search on those keyword phrases, we're not putting in www dot in the domain name. We're putting in, Mexican restaurants near me, retail stores near me, hair salons near me. Or if we know of a business name, we start putting in the business name and expect Google just to read our mind, to fill in the blanks and pull up in the search result exactly what we're looking for. So there's a lot of generic terminology that's put out there on Google. Even though people know the name of the business, we just figure that Google can just read our minds and understand exactly what we're looking for. And guess what? They kind of do. It's kind of scary. The path to purchase has changed. And this is not just about the purchase. The path of research has changed, right? So the old marketing funnel in the past was marketing kind of that awareness, and then we're looking at suspects and prospects, and then of course action takes place. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and this should hopefully resonate first for many of you. When we think of Google, right, the new path to purchase is a really messy middle, because we are now triggered with everything through the web and through ads and all the different commercials that we see, all those little trigger happy things that we see as we scroll through our social feed every day. So we are now more exploration and evaluation, and then experience to purchase. So because it's very simple for us to do the exploration and do our own kind of due diligence and time when researching a business or product or service, it's not how it used to be. There's a lot of little variables in the mix, and I call it the messy middle, that trigger people to do more of an exploration or kind of evaluate what's my next step here. Okay. That's why marketing is so important, because you have to stay top of mind. So the attempt of showing your brand, your product, your services multiple times in different areas of the web has to happen, because eventually, hopefully, somebody will take action and either purchase or call you or come into their store or eat at your restaurant. So all the stuff that happens between deciding I want and making the purchase is something for you guys to be aware of. It's all about the exposure, okay? Because you're kind of competing with a lot of different entities out there. So the messy middle, there are 6 factors influencing consumer purchase decisions, okay? So there's category, power of now, social proof. I love that scarcity is a thing, believe it or not. Authority and power of free. So let me get into each one of these. So category, this is always the difficult word to pronounce, is heuristics, which is a short description of key industry product specifications can simply be purchase decisions. So what I mean by that is, under your Google My Business page, you can make sure that all of your optimization features that apply to your business should be active and turned on. So Google My Business is constantly adding new features, new functionality, new ways that you could describe your business. A lot of people will come to your Google My Business page before ever stepping into your actual store or into your business, because we can. So your Google My Business page is super, super important to you, okay? The power of now, we all understand what this means. We want information now. And so that is why, as well, your website and your key components and areas of the web need to be up to date at all times. And Google's pretty cool in the sense that the Google My Business page, you can actually upload events and you can upload promotions and anything that you feel like is the most relevant to your business today, because that's the power of now, right? There are some limitations with Google where you can't upload just everything that's going on in your business like you can your website. However, with Google My Business, you can upload different events and posts. So anything that is relevant now is posted on your Google My Business page. Very cool. Social proof. Okay, so this is still a big thing with businesses when it comes to recommendations and reviews. I always make sure that if you're a business that you really don't get a lot of reviews, you have to ask. Bottom line, you have to ask, okay? Because people will give it to you if you ask. If you do get a lot of reviews, make sure you respond to them. This is your customer service, like, employer, right? Or employee. So when you think of Google My Business and Google and your website, it's essentially like a secondary arm of having a person at your business being able to answer questions, being able to respond to reviews, all these consumer decision making, like influencing steps that I'm showing you today is important, that you have to take action. And unfortunately, I do see a lot of businesses that sometimes skip the beat and they don't respond to reviews or they don't ask for reviews. You guys, this is so important. You must do reviews. If you can, ask for it. The other thing is FOMO. We all know that, right? The dreaded FOMO, fear of missing out. So there is something with the influence of how consumers purchase or the decision of using a product or service, is that it's a must, kind of the scarcity bias. So is it in stock? Is it about to be run out? So I see a lot of like local retail stores in Oconomowoc that do a really good job with this, like only a few left, or, promotion ends this Saturday type of thing. Those are really good call words and keywords to put out there, because people right now do not want to feel left out and they want to support the local businesses. Authority is a big one too. Being swayed by an expert or trusted source. So when you are out there all you businesses, and you're posting on different content pieces that relate to your business. You want to be the expert and you want to be that trusted source. So as I mentioned before, content is crucial, right? So more than ever before, personalization, content is king to the search engines, content is king to the all your social channels. But it's really good for you guys to put out there, different tips and that accreditation of who you are, because more people today than ever before are researching businesses, and they're looking at those credentials and they're looking at the expert and trusted source, right? That I can trust this business that I'm about to work with because I can't go there necessarily. So, put yourself out there a little bit and talk about the awards or talk about why, you are the best of the best in your field. Because that is absolutely what people want. And of course, lastly, power of free. Anything free, and this is funny because we kind of knew this in the past, but the power of free is sometimes just perception of free is enough. It's so true. So we love when we see, with this purchase, get a free little gift, or with this purchase, free shipping. So believe it or not, still today, the power of free is a big influencer when it comes to consumer purchasing decisions or research decisions as well. There's a really, really great website. Highly recommend it to you guys. Thinkwithgoogle.com. It's a podcast. It's free. You can subscribe. Highly recommend for those wanting to learn more about everything and anything when it comes to Google marketing and Google My Business and the strategies within for a business, specifically for a business. So getting into a little bit of content. Good content still matters, and now content matters more. So when we think about our content strategy, I've always said this in the past before as well, you can tell a business that actually plans out their month and plans out week by week kind of what their strategy is and what they're going to convey and what's relevant to their business. So you have to remember the old marketing phrase, content is king, is still very much true, right? But during this pandemic and the fast evolving technology, we have to remember too is how it's presented with videos, the visuals, is not enough, right? So you got to maybe put a little bit of marketing in the back end to get it seen by people. And also you got to really, if planning is not a part of your strategy, it needs to be. Meaning, what is your focal point for the month? What product, service? And how do we work in the personalization piece? So in the past, I've always preached, you want to have a well-rounded plan where you're talking about your product and services, of course, right, throughout the week, but then you work in community. And then you work in that personalization piece, which is maybe featuring people or pets. My gosh, you guys, if there's anything you can do that's going to spark interest and get people to react, it's any kind of animal picture or video. People love pets, and we all know that. But content is king. Marketing, I love this quote, but marketing is queen and runs the household. Okay. That is the best quote ever, because it's true. So even though we're getting great content out there and content is more important than ever, if no one is seeing it, it doesn't matter. So you must have a little bit of a marketing budget so people that you want to see it actually see it, to then do what? Take action. They're going to call you, go to your website, wherever we want to lead people to is in our hands, right? It's in our fingertips. We control where we send people. But if you're not marketing, we cannot control who sees it necessarily. Okay. All right. Motivation, spirit, funny content is a win still today. Absolutely. You guys be motivational, have great things in the community to share. Here's the one thing about the Oconomowoc Chamber of Commerce. You can share the content. It's a beautiful thing. So don't recreate the wheel. Certainly share other people's posts. Always, if you can, work with another business, create that synergy to build a plan together to help each other out. If you know of another business where you're like, gosh, we should work together, a contest, offering a gift card for whatever reason. Those are things that you should do. And if anything, promote each other. My gosh, I mean, you guys have all such great content to share. Promotion, no matter who you are, and in supporting each other is more prevalent than ever before. People need to laugh. That's still today, right? So it's okay to share funny things that you find will be appealing to your audience. You know your audience best. And maybe it's time to shift, how things were done like a year ago and today, lighten it up a little bit, right? And do more of the video stuff and little like skits, because people do love that stuff. So what does it all mean? We need to create engaging content that tells a story. That's another big piece, okay? Personalization storytelling is still as relevant as ever before. And that is absolutely something that I stress to you guys, because while I see a lot of great posts out there in our community, okay, with businesses, I always say, if you were to plan a little bit more thoroughly and just something and really kind of get deep here, we want to maybe work in some personalization with video, because the video is absolutely 100% going to get more people to engage, right? In the moment content will win over highly produced content. In the moment content will win over highly produced content, okay? So get out those phones, you guys, use them, use that camera. Don't hide behind your phone camera anymore. Just kind of put yourself out there. Or if you don't want to get out there yourself, it's okay. There's lots of other things that you can do in film. A couple of just still today social media content best practices, the must-dos. Always ask those questions, but be direct. Keep it short, all right? Nobody likes to read a whole bunch of content. If you have a lot to read, you should direct them back to your website. I always say too, if there's a call to action that can be incorporated into your social like content and posts, please do that. Because if somebody's interested in something and they have to go figure out how to go find it, it's a waste of time, first off. But secondly, that's kind of a deterrent for a customer. So if I have to go and find what you just mentioned and I'm clicking around the website, I'll probably stop at a certain point, because too much work. Don't make your people work. Offer some valuable information. Give them just enough to entice them to take action. Links, share links, be positive and interesting. Always post visuals and videos. That's a must, right? And maintain a voice. What is your voice? Be original, okay? Provide great customer service. I'm going to stop here just one quick sec with that one. The customer service piece right now is huge. If you have people kind of asking the same questions over and over again, right? Or what's trending in your industry that you think that would be of value to your people and your consumers, get it out there. Because a lot, like when I was kind of mentioning earlier today, the whole exploration piece, a lot of people will go to your website, but guess where they're going first? They're going to Google My Business, and they're probably going to go to your Facebook page, because many websites are somewhat stagnant, so they don't get updated very often. And so a lot of people are now resorting and going to Facebook, because Facebook is where normally you're going to see the most relevant and the most recent content. And so just remember that it's not just about your website anymore, even though that is the face of your business. There is other outlets that people are going to check you out. Okay. I would say now too, the king of social for content is short form videos. Here's a little tip for you guys. A short form video does not have to be a person speaking into the camera. Okay. Nobody wants all of that, right? So maybe every once in a while you have, you're featuring a person within the organization, featuring a product or service, totally fine. But using tools like canva.com, and there's other like great vendors out there like promo.com. There's lots and lots of free video libraries that have already pre-made short short form videos ready to go. Canva, if anybody uses Canva, and I've mentioned them many times in past workshops, has all of these really cool new like little video clips that you can incorporate with your own text and to make things kind of snazzy. And people love movement. So of course, videos will gain, usually 50% more activity and 50% more action with some sort of movement. But it doesn't have to be your traditional old video, you guys. There's other ways to do this. So big tip to you. Couple of statistics I want you guys to know. 70% of consumers have shared a brand's video. I do believe that because I share lots of videos. I know that's how I learn about new products and services. It's because people share their videos through their news feed. And of course, it comes into my news funnel. We love, like I said, we're more engaged than ever before when we come across a video that's kind of sparks our interest. It provides confidence and it guides the online kind of explorer into the right path for the decision making, right? And so with the video, it stops you in the tracks. Number one, with the video, most people don't really listen to video. That's why you have that text overlay. So you got to do that. So maybe like to read, and then from there, and here's the thing too. When it comes to social advertising and anything like that, a successful ad consists of not just links to the website, but it's people also just interacting, okay, with the campaign in the ad. So the likes and the shares and all the little fun emojis you can do, that all matters. So please, this year, take to video. More video is better. More personalization, I mentioned that before. So MSI just put out this week a really fun picture. It obviously was International Women's Day recently. So this is really personal, right? It showcases all the women that work for MSI and great taglines, best of the best leaders, women or changing the world. I love that. This is such a great post. So this is what I'm talking about with personalization, right? Bringing in things that are happening within the organization and really putting yourself out there. Planning is a must, okay? So like I said, your monthly goal is to start sitting down and just really kind of writing out what do we really want to focus in on this month, and then kind of surround the planning and the content with the personalization or with anything in the community. So you don't have to talk about all about product and services all the time through social or your web or Google My Business. Okay, vary it up. This is a great example. Many of you also have voice recognition. So we have voice and visual search, right? So Siri, just so you know, is always listening to you. It's freaky, okay? So is Alexa. So if you ever come across an ad and you're like, God, I was just talking about that product or service. I literally was talking about the other day, Las Vegas, okay? And I have Alexa at home and I'm already getting ads about where to stay in Las Vegas. So like hotel deals and things like that. It's crazy. It's kind of like Big Brother's watching. Yes, I hate to say it like that, but kind of that is the case. Our phones and our GPS and where we are, you know exactly who you are, what you do, where you're at, okay, and the behavior behind all of that. So that's how we're able to actually advertise effectively for the most part, is because of the behavior behind what you guys do. I know, crazy stuff. Chatbots. Chatbots is a big thing in 2021 as well. Chatbots is a great customer service tool in Facebook. So it's a way to alleviate you guys answering all these different questions that maybe comes through the pipeline of a chatbot. But there's ways to set up dialogues, which I think is really fun, to answer questions and drive people to certain areas of the website if needed. So that's also something for you guys to think about, is if you've never done anything with your chatbot, you can absolutely set something up very easy. And we can certainly help you with that too. But it's kind of like a question answers, and the chatbot does the job. So it's a little bit of a customer service tool for you guys if you've never done it before. But that's been a big thing in 2021. I'm seeing more businesses set up a proper chatbot, and I love it. Everything we do, just remember this: when you're thinking about content creation or your website, you got to think the three pillars, right? Or sorry, the four pillars of what people do. I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, and I want to buy. So your intent when you're putting out content needs to cater to all four, right? So I want to know, make sure you're providing that key element in the mix of incorporating the right content. Same with go, same with do, right? What's my call to action for go and do? And of course, buy. So don't make it super easy for people to buy now or where to go to buy that product and service. This is our micro moment attitude. This is everything we do every day, all day long. A little bit back to storytelling. We do a lot of support with local businesses on storytelling. And the storytelling is really about your business. Get deep, you guys. So the history, maybe certain employees that have been there for a while and they specialize in ABC and whatever, okay? This is personalization to its best. And so storytelling is something that can be done not just with social. You could do podcasts is a really popular thing for 2021. We're seeing a lot more podcasts than ever before. We actually do podcasts here at the Digital Media Lab. We're doing more and more. So anybody out there kind of interested in that realm, let me know. Blogs are still relevant, you guys. It's still great content to be put out there. YouTube, the pre-roll. And helping with like some of the search optimized videos that also we're seeing is becoming more prevalent than ever before. So we're seeing a little bit of a shift in the sense that businesses, even though they think people know about their business and why they're in business and why they're passionate about their products and services, they might not, right? So there's a lot of consumers that don't really know. They know of you, but they don't really know about you. And so continue the storytelling, but there's different avenues of how you can put that content out there. And these are just a few examples of how you can do that. Marketing, almost done, I promise. Then we'll go to Q&A. So I want to make sure you guys understand kind of what's out there when it comes to marketing tactics, like the basics, right? Because I said before, content is key to the search engines, but without the marketing, no one's really going to see it, right? So 2021 is really the year to be ready, to be stronger, and have a little bit of more of a marketing budget to spend on getting your information seen by the right people. In the end, that's what we want. I want the right audience looking at the right content to then do what? Take action. And if it's not being seen by the right people, what's the point? No one's seeing my stuff, right? Because everybody's online. This is where we're at, guys. And it's not going to change anytime soon. We like to touch and feel stuff. We like to come into the stores, and thank God we have a great downtown area. And we have great stores on the outside of downtown Oconomowoc as well that we can easily go to and visit. But still today, right, no matter who we are, we're going to go online first to check out that business. We do a lot of Google advertising. Google's really cool when it comes to ads. So if you want to be on top on Google, right, you want to be found on very specific keywords on the very top, no matter what. Not only does Google Ads help with being ranked, no matter what, on top of Google with keyword phrases and specific to the geo that you're located in or that you want to appear on, it also helps with rank organic. Okay, so when Google sees that you're running an ad, it also helps, and it gives you kind of like a check. Okay, they're running an ad. We're also going to make sure they appear really well organically because you're spending dollars with Google. So it's funny how the two kind of coincide with each other and they work together. Search engine marketing is what it's called. We do a lot with Google in that sense. We also do a lot with keyword search retargeting. So here's the thing with advertising. Have you ever been to a website or look for a product and all of a sudden those ads are following you all over the web? Okay, so that's something called search and site retargeting. And it's become very, very popular when it comes to advertising because it's a way to stay top of mind, right? So if I'm searching for oh gosh, like new eyewear. Okay. So I need to get my eyes checked. I guarantee there's a business in Oconomowoc that's running ads that all of a sudden I'm going to start to see those ads if I'm on weather.com or if I'm on a different blog site or if I'm just kind of searching the web. That's what it's about. It's keeping your content in keeping top of mind. There's many ways of how let me rephrase. So there's many different ways on how people search, right? And there's definitely many different ways of how people discover different products and services in business. So the search and site is a great avenue in the sense that we are actively searching, and I've gone to your site, I've left your site, and those ads appear automatically in front of me. So really great strategy and options there. Mobile geofencing is also a really cool strategy. So you've been into different businesses and then probably been served an ad on that business. So it's interesting how today we can fence different neighborhoods, different businesses, different locations throughout Oconomowoc area, and then actually serve ads to those people going into a business, walking out, and then they are served ads. So pretty cool technology when you think about like, okay, I'm going to walk into Stein's, I'm going to leave Stein's, and then I'm going to be served ads from them. It's just how it is. And I know some of you are shaking your head probably like, oh, I hate those ads. Like I get served ads all the time. Unfortunately, yes, that's just how it is. There's no really workaround to that. But if you do it smart and you put your content out into the places that mean the most for you, that you think the value of your audience is there, then it does work. Okay. So no matter what, people will always support their local small businesses. I just want to end it here with that, because in the end, all of you guys do such a good job with no matter who you are, promoting and supporting small businesses or medium businesses or any business in the Oconomowoc. That's where we are. But it is still your job to get that really good content out there. And if you feel like you want to branch out and get more of an audience coming to your website or get more of an audience coming through social, that's where you got to spend maybe some more dollars. And that's where we absolutely can help you guys. We do a lot of support to local businesses that are ready to branch out a little bit and spend some advertising dollars, because we're kind of there. And in 2021, that's a big piece of getting that messaging out and getting your story out there is content. So we are at 12, almost 12:15. I could talk all day about this stuff, you guys. Honestly, some of you know me that are listening and you're probably like, yep, she could probably talk all day about all this digital fun stuff. But I'm going to turn it over to Sherry and then let her answer some questions or see if anyone out there has questions.
Wow, Peggy, that was just quite a bit of information. Thank you for sharing.
Are you overwhelmed?
It is actually overwhelming, and we want to try to make it just a little bit less, I think, just by asking a couple of good questions that came in and some that I also had come up with. So the first thing I noted or kind of had seen you talk about several times was the Google ads or the keyword buys, things like 800 a month. And, in the past, it used to be just a couple of years ago that people would say, oh, you can boost for $5 on Facebook and have a lot of reach. And so is that still relevant as far as Facebook, or does that kind of that budget need to be upped as well?
That's a really good question. So when it comes to Facebook boosting, that has not changed, everybody. So you still have to boost like your most important posts. You don't have to boost everything, okay? But the posts you do want to be seen, you have to boost. Thankfully, the budget is whatever you feel most comfortable. It's just the reach is going to depend on your budget, but I do still recommend around $10 per boost. So if your budget, say, 20 a week or 100 to 150 a month, that's pretty solid. But that's pretty much as far as you're going to get as far as that type of advertising and the boosting. If you're talking, like Facebook advertising, which is not a boost, okay, it's an ad running consistently, which really works well with boosting, by the way. that roughly could be, like I said, depending on your budget, could be 150 to 100 up to upwards of $500, all dependent on, you know, where you're targeting, who you're targeting, because you can build an audience around that, and how long do you want the campaign to run. So there are variables and there's layers to this, and this is why people hire companies like ourselves to help guide them through it, because otherwise I don't want you guys wasting your money either, right? But boosting, it's still pretty much the same. Boost the important content, $10, that will go, you know, that will reach quite a bit of people.
Very good. And so I also, you had talked about the trusted source. And so sometimes I think that businesses still think that they kind of have, like they don't want to give out their secrets. But what I think people, or most people that are searching now for content find is if they find that trusted source, they're more likely to do business with it. And
That is correct.
it isn't so much anymore the, you know, I got to protect, you know, my content or whatever. Even like, for instance, Digital Media Lab sharing all this content with us today.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, the secret sauce of what people do, you know, doesn't really have to be, unless they want it to be. Like, you're seeing more businesses be, you know, more transparent on what they do or how they do it, right? That more than ever before, because of the trust factor, right? And authority, credibility behind the brand of what someone's presenting. I will share this stuff all day. I'll tell someone exactly how to do it, but a lot, you know, but it's also like, you either have time or the knowledge or the willingness to learn, or you hire someone, right? And so everybody's running their business the way they're running their business. And so that's why, like, I just want to make sure you all know what you really should be paying attention to, which is really pay attention to SEO in Google, okay? And really pay attention to the content that you're putting out on both all your social channels. And I say this over and over again, more personalization and more video, all right? It doesn't have to be something fancy schmancy. It could be something just fun, but that's something we need to do more of, is that personalization. And like I said, that trust factor, you're going to get more people reacting. Does that make sense?
I
So
love that you're sharing over and over again personalization, because a lot of times when I see some Facebook of some businesses, it seems they're always just pushing product, product, product. And
yeah,
so instead of a product, and I know that sometimes we feel like we want to protect our privacy or something, but in order now to build relationships with customers, you really do have to put yourself out there a bit more and
yeah.
smatter in some, here's personal. I mean, I was even thinking for a restaurant, here's my favorite dish, you know,
Yep.
this is one you should try, and different things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. My, you know, cocktail of the week, you know, it's Friday tomorrow. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, where is that? Let's do it. But I mean, like I said, but you know, let's not forget about those B2B businesses too, right? So those are the ones, especially like if you guys were to do like Facebook Live or do with Zoom today, like what we're doing now, you can record a 10 minute or 5 minute by yourself, like little tidbit of the week about something that people would want to know. So I did a podcast with a realtor yesterday, not in state, but out of state. It was amazing. We talked about dual agency stuff and the bidding wars going on. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. I'm like, those are the things that people have to kind of think outside the box. Like my story, how do I get my information out there? Well, you can do it Facebook Live, you can do a video, you can do a podcast. There's a lot at our fingertips that are super easy to do. It's just, I think for a lot of businesses, it's the do, right? Getting it into the plan, execution, making it happen. But honestly, like I said, baby step it, okay, if you have to, but today we have to do this, and you have to have marketing dollars. It doesn't have to be a month. What's 500 a month? What can that do? Quite a bit, actually. If budget allows, right? But if you have no marketing budget at all, you got to stick to the basics, I guess. But unfortunately, 2021, reading up on all this stuff, they're saying you need to get that content out to the right people, and you're going to have to pay a little bit for that. And it makes sense.
Well, it does. And I think, and speaking of video, which you just did, we did have a couple of questions on that. And I think that you answered that pretty well. But one of the things that I think in the past was it was like the norm to do a 30-second video, but now it seems like you have to like do a quick snippet of 3 to 10 seconds. And
Yeah.
so, because
Yeah,
that's
they're just little short video clips. And so that's pretty common today. You're seeing the little video clips that are coming out, and the tools like the canva.com, which has amazing videos, by the way, and promo.com. And, there's tons of options out there. I think you can just search, free video clips and find a whole bunch of fun stuff. The animated GIFs are hilarious. People love, Schitt's Creek. Find something from Schitt's Creek, if anyone's a Schitt's Creek fan out there. But like those little like Gippies are hilarious. People love that stuff. And so if it's relevant incorporate with the right content, it's okay to do stuff like that. And I think you should.
Yeah, and also behind the scenes, a lot of people love. I just the other day told someone that as a person that doesn't change my tires very often, I'm kind of fascinated by that sound that it makes when they're taking off a tire. And I'm sure that even some behind the scenes things that you think are everyday would be interesting to an audience.
Absolutely.
And so
I always say, never assume that. First off, nothing is stupid. All right. I hear that. Well, no one's going to like it. It's going to be dumb. No one's going to say, who cares? So never assume your audience that's watching doesn't appreciate it or like it, or maybe won't watch it later on. Right. You can't think that way anymore. You just again, need to put yourself out there in some way, shape, or form or fashion and fumble, So, just have fun with it. Like I said, no one's perfect. But if you don't put yourself out there, right, your competition will.
Yeah. We do have time for a couple more questions. So one of the questions that came in, if I only had time to do one thing of everything you discussed, and we do realize that everything you've discussed is important, but what would you say to give that the priority to?
Okay, so that's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
Okay, so I would say, ooh, who asked that? Just kidding. So I would for sure say if there's one area that think about how people search would be Google. So Google, like the Google My Business page, kind of focusing on SEO, because if you're in industry or business where people most likely will find you through Google, that's where you need to be. Yes. Okay. But otherwise, of course, second to that would be, focusing on really good content on social. Everybody's on social now. And I know I've heard Facebook is falling through the wayside. Yeah, okay, to a point. But it's still the top advertising channel out there. And so is Instagram and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has really come a long way with advertising than ever before because of COVID this year. So there's a lot going on with, for those B2B businesses too. It's not just for retail and restaurants.
That's for
Everything
sure.
I've told you today applies for all of you, truthfully. Just you have to be creative and think outside the box a little bit of how you present it out there to your audience.
Yes, and so one of the other question that I thought was kind of interesting, right? There were two that came in that kind of tied in, and was you were talking about the retargeting, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because the person that asked this question also understands about geofencing. So I think just to explain that people just don't have to throw an ad out that goes to the entire United States, but really they can target local. Could you just talk a little bit about retargeting and what geofencing is?
Yes. So retargeting essentially is, placing ads out there on the web based off someone's kind of searchability of keywords and what they're looking for. So for an example, and I just did this, again, I was searching for insurance, like local car insurance company, because I'm changing my car insurance. So in the area there, I've been served quite a few like State Farm, like local agent ads, because of my behavior and what I'm searching for. So if I'm on weather.com, you know, all those like the leader ad, the little thumbnail ad, the mobile ad. So it's a great way to get your brand in front of the right people. But here's the thing with retargeting, you have to have the right mindset of being in the right place at the right time and saying like, oh, I just was thinking about new, you know, I want to change my insurance and there's State Farm Insurance. I should check them out. So it's a technique. It's one tactic, right? There's multiple marketing tactics one can do. So we have to select the ones that work best for a business. But I think that's a really cool one. The other one, I go to your website. I'm looking at those pair of shoes. Those shoes are following me all over the web. You know what I'm talking about with that as well. And for sure, those are the things that I'm getting. Oh, we're taking pictures of today. No, just ignore it, Joe.
Hi, Deb.
Yeah. So that is a great technique as well. Come to the site, leave the site, and you can serve ads to those people and follow them throughout the web on different ad sets. I call them ad sets, different messaging, different visuals, different ways to get them to do what? Come back. Mobile geofencing is my favorite example. So let's say, okay, Sherpers. Okay. So Sherpers wants to geofence people in their area, like maybe neighborhoods or different other businesses, and they want to serve up a coupon or something like that. So it's about capturing the right people in the right place. Has nothing to do with keywords, has nothing to do with going to the website. I am in a certain business, I leave, or a neighborhood, I leave, and then I'm being served ad. I have another example, a landscape company that I'm working with. So they are targeting neighborhoods, okay? Maybe a little, like all the neighborhoods, because guess what? Spring's coming. And so what they're doing is we're capturing all the right people in those neighborhoods to serve them ads about, you know, spring shrubbery and all that stuff. Start planning ABC neighborhoods because spring's coming and now it's the time to start booking, you know, their appointments for landscaping. So we're able to track not only where we're serving those ads or where the people are coming from to serve ads, right? But we also can track conversions. Okay. Everybody wants conversions. They want to know it's working. So we can actually see from my ad how many people go to that location of business, which is kind of cool, right? So the car dealerships is that same concept, you know. Ewald's fencing maybe some other car dealerships in their area, and they can serve Ewald ads, but then if they drive into Ewald, that's a conversion and we can track it. So that's pretty cool technology. Gets me excited, as you can see, because there's so much we can do out there. But these are the types of like marketing outlets and ideas and recommendations that are out there that I think a lot of people don't know, because you don't know what you don't know until you come to a webinar like myself, right?
Yeah.
But there's really inexpensive options out there. These are really expensive. There's nothing that expensive anymore, right? It used to be like the boosting thing. We used to be kind of like, oh God, I got to spend that much money on boosting. Now it's like, okay, whatever. Now you got to think a little bit differently about where your marketing dollars are going, and they need to be going somewhere on the web. And my recommendation is multiple tactics. More fish poles in the pond. It's going to catch more fish. How people search and explore and make decisions is not in your control. So you need to put yourself out there in multiple areas of the web to catch them. Okay, so kind of that's my fun analogy for a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, and I would also just, before we end here, just, you had mentioned, like, for instance, tagging the chamber on Facebook posts. I mean, that's a free opportunity. It takes you 2 seconds to type in the at and tag us. You don't have to like write, I'm at the Chamber of Commerce. You can just tag it down at the bottom, much like you do hashtags for Instagram.
Yep.
And then we'll see that and be able to share that for you. So there's a lot of free things.
Yeah. Sharing business content is a big tip.
Yeah.
Because it's free. And of course, another business is going to love that you're sharing their information and supporting them and vice versa.
Yeah.
So the chamber stuff has great content. So, you know, looking for something to do this Saturday, farmers market, you know, things like that. And it doesn't have to be anything about your business at all. It's just showing that you're supporting your community, because that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, Peggy, thank you so much. This has been a lot of information. And for our viewers out there, if you have questions that you didn't get answered today, I'm sorry we couldn't get up to all of them. We will give those over to Peggy, or just email either Marissa or I, and we'll get them to Peggy and get those answered. And I'm just wanting to take a quick couple of minutes just to give you some announcement of some upcoming events and things. I wanted to give you an exclusive first hint to watch for a dedicated e-blast next week. It's when we will be announcing, well, it is another hint. It's going to be St. Patty's Day next week, and we usually do a one-day sale for the Chamber's largest summer networking event. And then for those 35 and under, the young professionals are meeting virtually again tomorrow. We'll be in person real soon, but tomorrow's will be virtual. And just for businesses and organizations out there, if you do have people that are 35 and under that are working for you, I just would encourage you to get them involved in that networking group so that they can build relationships with their peers and grow professionally. So in addition to those support local messaging that we've been putting out for forever, our marketing PR committee this year is going to do monthly promotions to the Hot Deals page for our members. And so I encourage you, there's another free opportunity for advertising. Post a hot deal. Peggy gave a lot of different ideas for what a hot deal could be. The trusted source, maybe just give away a little information. Click here to download our tip of the week or something like that, or even discounts. And remember that people love to come for those discounts. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just is, you get that word either free or discount out there, and it spurs energy. We're going to be doing that once a month, so I encourage you to post often. And finally, two more things. The Business Education Committee is excited to announce that Pat Miller will join us for May Business Over Breakfast. Pat has over 20 years of experience strategizing and positioning events with radio stations and digital brands, including WTMJ and WKTI in Milwaukee. And so if you will tune in on May 6th, that'll be another great opportunity for some information and learning. And actually, I think we are going to try that one in person and a combo of in virtual as well. And finally, don't miss the Oconomowoc Winter Farmers Market. We only have 2 weeks left of it before we take a break in April and get prepared for our Summer Farmers Market in May. So it is from 8 to noon on Saturdays at Crosspoint Community Church, who graciously opened their doors for our Winter Farmers Market this year. And just watch the e-blast for all the upcoming promotions and events that happen every week. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining us today. And really also, I want to thank you for your membership support, because it allows us to bring you the educational events, promotional opportunities that we are able to do throughout the year for you. So if you have, again, any additional questions for Peggy or for the Chamber, just feel free to contact us. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.